Orange Country.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Orange Country. We are already off and running with, well, I get to introduce Emily Simpson because her and Gina are the dynamic duo that I love to watch and was so excited to finally get to be around both of them and feel this like back and forth. It's like a tennis, it's like a hilarious tennis match with Lucy and Ethel or... it really is. And I got to experience it firsthand when I was so graciously asked to, tend bar at Watch What Happens Live while these two ladies dished with Andy. So
wait, can I say something about that Watch What Happens Live?
Yeah.
Please.
Did you look at the ratings on that?
No. Were they great?
No.
Yeah.
They were?
Oh,
they were very
me. Oh my God, it was me.
Well, first of all, I saw someone post the ratings for when the Tres Amigas were on. It was like 500,000 something. And they were like, oh, the ratings are great. So I had Shane go look at the ratings for when you and I were on. And it was in the 500,000s. It was very, very minimally less than when they were on.
Wow. That is huge. I love hearing that. I love that you.
I'm not dissing them. I'm just saying. I'm just giving.
We're underrated.
Some props. That's it. That's my only intent.
I'm actually really glad you shared that. I love hearing that. And also, I mean, I'm not surprised. You guys are so fun to watch. I have, again, I feel like I'm in some sort of surreal dream or something that I now am in this world with you guys because of all the years that I laughed my ass off, specifically, which we talked about at dinner that night that where Emily was sitting on the couch as that woman was extracting Gina's demons. And Emily,
that episode.
Your face was the golden ticket of that episode.
Well, it's very good that I didn't have 6 glasses of warm champagne before that happened, because it would have been a whole different episode. I was able to keep my mouth shut.
You just you were trying so hard to be supportive, but not
I was like into
completely.
It.
I know that's
the part that's so insane, Gina.
I was something I felt. I literally was affected by that. Like that I had a demon, I don't know what it was, and literally I felt something like warm come up. I was tingly, I was feeling all the colors she was talking about, and then it was gone.
This just got
I was
very sexual.
Like I
don't know what happened off camera.
It was great. It was like a Victoria Gunvalson massage. Oh, I don't
so it was like an orgasm.
That yet. You don't see that yet. That's tonight, I think. Today, yeah.
So that actually reminded me of growing up in Texas. I went to a Pentecostal church, and when you guys were extracting, and I mean, what I'm trying to do is support you in saying, I know when you're in that moment and what you're going in and you believe what's happening and something is happening to you. But when someone's watching it, it looks insane.
Yeah. Because it kind of is.
But that's what's so great about reality TV is we do some just dumb shit.
Yeah.
But,
we really do.
But you have to.
Yeah. And then they get to watch and judge and laugh while we had to live it.
At our expense. Yes.
At our expense. Totally.
I have to say that I don't know what we're talking about today because I'm positive we had a topic and then all this technical stuff happened and we spent 15 minutes before this trying to deal with stuff. And now I'm like a deer in headlights. Actually, I'm a deer in a ring light and I don't know what to start talking about. Gina, what's our topic?
I'm pretty sure it had something to do with Emily eating sandwiches in the sauna, but I don't really remember anything beyond that. But
Marissa, I'll ask how you guys. Marissa, chime in if there was a specific topic because I feel like you gave us one, and it was actually really good. But until I hear that, I'll just ask some questions that I want to know.
Yeah, that's actually probably
what did you
better.
guys know of each other before you came on the show?
Nothing. And that's what's so interesting is I think so many people think that Gina and I were friends prior to the show. Because I've had lots of people comment that, like, how long have you known Gina? And I'm like, what do you mean, how long have I known Gina? I've known her for as many years as we've been on the show together. 5. It's been 5 years now, or 6, because of how long this season, since this season has been 2 years long. Yeah. So, but I think it's just the camaraderie that we had right off from the beginning. Even though didn't we fight in the beginning a little? I mean, I don't even remember. It's been so long now. Like maybe there was a little.
The thing is that I think that actually made us closer. I think that when you come on the show, it's also like a giant mind fuck, honestly, and you don't know like who's on your side, who's not. And the whole time I genuinely thought Emily, considered Emily a friend and whatever. But then I remember it was like the first year we were good. And then I think it was the second year I had a lot of personal stuff going on. And I think that it was difficult to navigate through. And I think that Emily, and also you don't get to pick who you film with and stuff. So I think that it came off as me perhaps like jumping ship on her, or, going to hang out with Tamara and Shannon and Vicky, who were not being kind to Emily. But really, I wasn't really speaking outside of the show to anyone. I was just going through a lot of stuff, and that created this like problem between her and I, because she didn't know if she could trust me or not in the moment. And I think that then boiled up. And then I was thinking on my side, so she's thinking, I don't think I can trust you. Are you like going and ditching me and being friends with these women who aren't even nice to me? And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm just going through all of this personal stuff. Why are you more concerned with like me jumping ship than just being there for me as a friend? And it just created this tornado of bullshit, and it bubbled up and it came to a head. And then we just fucking had it out. And then it was like better, you know what I mean? Like we just blew the roof off the house, took it down to the studs, and then it was like we were fresh and rebuilt from there.
Is that how you feel, Emily?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago, so a lot of it's fuzzy. I mean, I can't remember like what I had for dinner last night, but no, I mean, she's right. And it's difficult in the beginning. I always said when you go on Housewives, to me, it's like Survivor. I felt like Housewives was more like Survivor than what I had anticipated Housewives would be. I think I was very naive going into Housewives. I hadn't really watched a lot of it. I wasn't an avid watcher. Of course, I knew what it was. I'd seen some episodes. I knew who Vicky was. I knew who Tamara was. But this is how dumb I was. I honestly thought that you went on this show about a group of friends and that you actually were friends. And then drama came out later because you were friends. Yeah. I didn't realize going into it that they just fucking hate you. right from the jump. And that's where I think I was really naive. And so it was very hard for me to, I wasn't used to that. I didn't know how to play that. I didn't know what to do with that. And I didn't know Gina. That's when I had first met her. I felt a camaraderie with her immediately. And I felt like she gave me like sister vibes. She reminds me very much of my sister, Sarah. We're super close. And so that relationship I had with Gina reminded me of just like something you'd have with a sister. But yeah, I questioned it a lot. I don't now at all, honestly. Like she could go move in with somebody and I'd be like, no, we're still best friends. Like I don't question our friendship at all.
I love that about y'all's friendship. Yeah. That's one of my favorite things that you guys talked about, even that night on Watch What Happens Live, is that you're not worried about how much time one of you spends with someone else. You know where you stand. You also don't worry that Gina is going to sideswipe you, or that, it's that you know each other's hearts. We use that phrase a lot here because I think a lot of times that's what people forget on these shows is you're like, but you know me. It's like, what are you doing? I mean, that's honestly what's been so hard watching this season with Tamara and Jen from an outsider. I'm like, but I just feel like Jen has been completely sideswiped. I mean, that's how it reads. If she's faking that, if she's putting that on, I just have felt like she showed up and Tamara flipped the script. I mean, they were legitimately friends. I certainly don't think Tamara said, hey, come be on this show where I can completely expose you and try to make your relationship look ridiculous. those things would come out either way, but it just felt like Tamara was determined to like.
What do I think about it?
Yeah, like what do you think about that?
Well, I understand Jen's point of view because I felt like I was kind of naive like that in the beginning too. Like I thought I was coming on a show and we'd be friends, and then like there would be drama, because when you're friends, you just have drama. I didn't understand how hard they go at you. Now, 5 years later, like I get it and I understand it. And I feel like Tamara's just Tamara, and Tamara doesn't bother me anymore because I get her now. You know what I mean? It took me a long time, but I do understand Jen's point of view where she's like, well, wait, we're friends. You knew about all these things before. We talked about these things before and you didn't have such a problem with it. And now we're on a show together and you're just going at me hard. And so I'm sure she's taken aback. I'm sure she doesn't understand it. I'm sure she doesn't get it. But, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, if she's still on the show, she's going to be like, I get it. I think it's just a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
I honestly,
sorry,
I don't know how good of friends they actually were. I mean, from when we were filming, from Tamara, I felt like it was like, yeah, we knew each other because she worked out at our gym and we'd hung out. But I don't know about Jen. Jen's still kind of an enigma to me. I don't know how deep of friendships she has with people. I don't know. So maybe her idea of a friendship is different than Tamara's. I don't know.
That's a really good point, that it could be what is seeming like it comes across that they were really good friends, but I think that what you just said is so important for people to know and remember, that we don't know beyond what people tell us and what they believe. I mean, she could just be, like you said, a different kind of friend. I will say, from a viewer's point of view, I don't know what happens in the reunion. I would love to get into that with y'all, because by the time people hear this, the reunion will have started airing. But Jen is coming off very well, I think. She has held it together. Mm-hmm. I think everybody's like, what are you doing in that relationship? But her response to it, I think I really like her. I agree.
I think she's likable. And I told Gina that when she first came on the show, because, we've been on this for 5 years, and Gina and I, think about this. We've been on the show for 5 years and we're still the newest people on the show. We are still at the bottom of this totem pole. That's because no one else has come on and
y'all just keep kicking everybody else off.
I'm always at the fucking end of the couch, because there's nobody else that's going to come on and be like, we are still at the bottom of this hierarchy.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's true. So when
I love
treated
that
as
you
such.
just referenced that.
Yeah, I love treated that way.
Yeah, like I'm always going to be at the end of the promo shot. I'm always going to be at the end of the couch. There is no one in 5 years that has come on and stayed, except for the two of us.
Shitty room. I mean, it is what it is.
So it just, it's like, you get glam at the studio for your confessionals, and I'm in the closet, and Heather Dubrow's in like a massive room. I mean, that is my lot in life. Like, that is just where I'm at. So when Jen came on, I remember having this conversation with you, Gina. I said, you know what? This is the first time in the 5 years I've been on this show that I actually think that she'll last, because she's likable. She really genuinely is a likable person. And I could actually picture myself being friends with her for real.
Yeah. And she's just genuine, you don't watch, like, I don't see her stuff she's filming at home and all of that. And then you watch it when it comes out in the show. And I'm like, Jen's good because she's doing the job. The job is just be yourself and exist in that environment. And she's capable of doing that. Like, I actually don't think she knows how to do not that. Like, I don't think she would be able to come in and start acting and thinking she's a housewife. Yeah. And like, that is what Emily and I both did when we came on the show, which was, we were just ourselves, and you see it. Like, that's why even the first year that Shane got a bad rap, it's because Emily was very pissy at him the whole time and he didn't want to do the show. And Emily didn't know how to even fluff her way through that. She wasn't going to sit there and pretend like, you're my hero hunky husband because no, because he was cranky because he didn't want to do the show, and she was pissed at him because he was cranky because he didn't want to do the show. And you see that, and even this year, you see it when it comes out, because it's real and people relate to real.
I think it's nuts to me how strong you and Shane are, because that first season, because again, we only see a little snapshot, and we saw mad Shane and we saw you crying, and it was like, what in the hell are these two people doing together? And what's funny is it was just an adjustment to a new thing, just like all of us when we either move to a new city or we start a new job. Well, and it just happened to involve him.
Yeah. There were other factors. I mean, he's trying to pass a bar exam.
Yeah.
You know, with millions of people watching. And, you know, I have production constantly telling me, you need to sit down and talk to Shane about passing the bar. And he's like, I don't want to talk about that. Like, it doesn't
feel real.
No, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to talk about it. They're telling me I have to talk about it. I'm telling him you have to talk about it. Then he's saying to me, I'm your husband. I have boundaries. You're not respecting my boundaries. Then he and I are arguing. And you know, it was a mix of a lot of things. It was also before I had my hip replaced. And I know, you know, whatever, that's like not sexy or exciting or anything, but I was in a lot of pain too. It was very difficult for me.
I find hip replacements very sexy. So please.
It was just, I was in so much pain and
all the time
being in that all the time, just chronic pain. And it made me so bitchy.
Every single time she would have to, literally every single time, Shane, that she would have to sit down or stand up anytime, I would have to physically assist her to get up or sit down. Like, that's how much pain she was in. Like, it's chronic pain. And chronic pain equals chronic bitch. It just does.
Yeah. And I was I was just so bitchy all the time. And then the bar exam and then him just nodding. He just wanted nothing to do with the show. He didn't want to film. He didn't want to talk about anything. Oh, it was just, my hair fell out. It was horrible.
Your hair falls out every year though.
It does though. Yeah.
But
it was worse that year.
Yeah, it was.
It's funny that you did all that in front of the camera. And I've heard you discuss your weight issues, and I think that has really made people fall in love with you even more, because you said it to Andy. Again, I'm going back to that conversation, and there have been scenes and episodes where you were in a swimsuit and your body didn't look the way it does now, and maybe it won't always look this way, but the point was, you were being who you were, and you were also saying, look, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for someone with a perfect body to be on camera, wet, not having control of the edit, not being able to filter it. And you're doing what you signed up to do. And I think that just, really resonated with people.
Yeah. I mean, think about the 5 years. We've done nothing but go on vacations to tropical locations where you wear bathing suits. And all 5 years, I rocked bathing suits the whole time and never complained. I did every water sport they put me on. I did every excursion. I jumped off a 35-foot platform into some dirty, nasty water, nearly died.
That scared the shit out of me, by the way.
I wore a bathing suit that whole day. Everybody else put cover-ups on. I just walked around in a bathing suit. Yeah, you really
did.
I did the entire day. I had shoes and a bathing suit on. That was it the entire time we filmed. So clearly I don't have a problem. I didn't, I would have been trying to hide myself if I did. I just,
Emily, though, I think what is especially unique about you, and that like I do want to highlight, is because there is a difference, right? Like, I feel like I'm more of a person that like, I really don't care. Like, I go up in weight, I go down in weight, but like, it's not like when I'm down in weight, I feel better and like whatever, but like, I'm not as affected by like what other people say, whatever. I feel like it's actually more unique and important, the messaging that you're delivering, because when you were like bigger or whatever sizes you are, or even now, like you do have insecurities and you do struggle with that, but you do it anyway. Like that, I think is so important. You push past that. It's not like you're in that bathing suit that whole day, like, my shit don't stink, or I think I look, you do still have like this rhetoric that's hard to get out of your head.
Yeah.
Like you do have that, but you say, fuck it, and you're brave to push through that, and you do it anyway. To push through that is hard. And if you have that, most people don't, most people who have that inner dialogue telling them
shut down,
they shut down, and you don't. And that is why I do think you really are like a role model and an advocate for anyone with body issues, whether you're big or small, because it's the mental part that is the real crux of that kind of like disease. And you fucking gun it, man. And that's rad.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I just don't want to miss out, and I don't want to miss. I see so many women comment or send me messages that say, I don't want to put a bathing suit on because I'm embarrassed. And then I think, we have such a short life. We're only here such a limited amount of time. And then you're going to look back and wish you did put the bathing suit on, and wish you did jump off the cliff, and wish you did hang out with your kids at the beach, and wish you did. So I just push past all that and I do it anyway. So
Emily,
awesome.
I have to just say to what you just said, like, it seriously, not to be dramatic, but it made me tear up when you said, I don't want to miss out. And the reason is because I grew up in a house where weight was all we talked about. I grew up with a sister who has dealt with her weight her entire life. And now she has 3 kids, and she looks great. But the voice in your head that says that you're not enough, that, for you to say what you just said, I hope my sister and everybody else hears that, because I know how many times we look back on things, and I don't want to say it because I'm embarrassed, because I'm a guy. I have so many body issues that stem from childhood and beyond. Maybe it's also being gay. I am so in my head about my body all the time. And there have been so many times with my kids where I've had to just take a breath and go, you know what? I'm getting in the ocean. I'm going to do this. And there's been other times when I couldn't. And I know how it's funny, even saying that out loud is embarrassing. Like, I can feel myself sweating because I'm saying that out loud. But for you to say it the way you did, to say, I don't want to miss out. We don't know how long we're going to be here, and our kids won't remember what our bodies look like. They'll just remember that we were there.
They don't remember because Annabelle, she likes to look at my social media sometimes, and she likes to ask things and questions. And she's now finally, aren't your kids, Gina, like finally cognizant that you're on a show? Like, my kids didn't know what was going on for like the first 3 years. And I'd say just now recently, they're like, oh, you're on a TV show. Like, they just now get it. So Annabelle's always asking questions about what people say, Instagram, things like that. And she saw that reel, that I posted yesterday where it showed the before, which, by the way, I accidentally posted that. I had no intent of doing that. I'm an idiot. And I accidentally posted it because I had that horrible picture of when I was like 40 pounds heavier. But then I was like, whatever, it's already out there, so we'll just go with it. But Annabelle saw that and she was like, Mom, I didn't know there was a difference. I was like, oh yeah, I've lost 40 pounds. And she goes, really? I didn't even notice. I just think you're beautiful no matter what. And my boys were in the back seat and they said the same thing. They were like, Mom, you lost weight. We didn't even notice that you lost weight. You're just mom. You're just pretty. That's how kids think. They don't think in terms of pounds or dress sizes. They think in terms of, is my mom present? That's it.
Right.
That's all.
And we teach them what they think about. And if all we do is obsess about our weight or in the mirror nitpicking and then we're teaching them to start thinking about their weight and the way they look. And so that's why every time I'm in the mirror, in front of my kids, my boys and my girls, I'm talking about how much I love myself and how beautiful mommy is. And, you know, whether I have makeup on or not, like that is the message in there, because it does spill down. And I think you're a product of that, Shane. And I think it's, and it's not, we've had this discussion before, your parents do the best with what they have and it just is what it is. But like you have the power to change that and shift that. And that's really cool for you to be able to look at that, for you to be able to admit that, for you to be able to be embarrassed by that, but still say all that is really cool and really powerful.
Our parents didn't know. They didn't have that knowledge or all this wellness or this talk that we now have, spiritual talk. And my mom didn't know that by criticizing herself that she was making us go, wait a minute, if that's fat, what am I? Because my mom was thin. And I don't even want to put her on blast for this because my mom is so great and she's worked very hard to to change that narrative as she learned the language later. But those scars are there, and it happens to boys and girls, but it does seem to affect girls more, especially when the mom is involved. I have to tell y'all something funny, not to divert the conversation, but when Emily said that her kids were just like, "You're just mom." I mean, I didn't even think about it. It reminded me of something a couple of years ago. My best friend was visiting from Austin, and we were at the beach. We all had a trip, and there was another friend there that was a girl. And our 7-year-old at the time, our daughter, she decided she was going to play matchmaker with these two, this man and this woman. And she was like, "Are you married? Are you married? Y'all should get together." And my friend goes, "Oh, no. I'm gay, like your dad." And Dylan just sat back and she goes, "My dad's gay." So then our son overhears this and he's like, "Huh?" Like, he's like this little Neanderthal. He's like, "Our dads are gay?" So my friend comes to me and is like, "Oh my God, I outed you to your kids." And I said, I never even thought of, they don't think about it. So later we sat down with them and we were like, "What does gay mean to you? It's not a bad word, whatever." Right. And realized that they just both said, "You're just our dads. We don't think of you that way." And it's so funny because it's the same thing with our appearance,
right. They think they just think, I mean, I just realized that my kids think I'm beautiful and they love me. And if I gain 40 pounds, they're not even going to notice. I mean, hopefully I don't. But if I did, they're not even going to notice. They don't even care. They just want their mom to be there. That's all. It's just about being present.
Their world. Yeah. Like, you're their world. You're their heart. You're their warmth. You're their comfort. You're all of it, So I think for sure, like, we have more power than we even understand when it comes to our kids.
And Speaking more influence and more ways to mess them up, which is why I have to be really careful. Because when I talk about how I lost weight, I do it in such a nonchalant kind of like, "Oh yeah, mommy just wanted to be healthy." I have to be very careful to not be critical of myself in front of my children.
Today's episode is brought to you by Studio.com. Studio.com is the home of the world's best online music classes. Whether you want to level up your skills in songwriting, production, singing, or a lot more, Studio offers over 100 premium classes. So there's something for music makers of any level. Instructors include a 5-time Grammy Award winner, Her, world-renowned DJ Kygo, One Republic frontman Ryan Tedder, Broadway legend Idina Menzel, pop genius Charlie Puth, and of course, me, and many more. In my class, I teach everything I know about the Nashville approach to songwriting and about my own approach. I bring you into my studio and share with you my entire creative process from start to finish. I write 3 brand new songs in front of the class from scratch, on camera, explaining everything I'm doing and mostly what I'm thinking along the way, because songwriting is mostly in our head and our hearts. Hopefully, it's hard to explain until you actually see me doing it, where I'm saying, "This is how I got this idea," or I'll jot something down, or I'll record a piece of music and then I'll put it all together, play a little on the guitar, play a little on the piano. I'll get into lyric writing, storytelling, melody, song structure, collaboration, and so much more. So head over to studio.com/Shane to check out my class or explore over 100 other amazing classes from the world's best. And again, that is studio.com/Shane. Well, speaking of being healthy and making those choices, one of the things that I do know now that came up when we were talking about what we could possibly bring up was whether or not, I'm curious about this because we're struggling with this new town, new house. People in California are so much more healthy minded. Thank goodness, because my kids live on mac and cheese and chicken tenders. And I got to be honest, me too. We went around the world and all we wanted were chicken fingers. But the question is, do you guys cook? Because we do not. And I do not like to mess up the kitchen or make my house smell like food. So we go out or order in.
Yeah, dinner time really stresses me out. It's
me too.
I mean, first of all, Shane barely eats anything. He's Persian, and so he just grew up eating Persian food, which is mostly like meat and rice. He doesn't eat any vegetables, nothing green. He doesn't eat salad. So I can't make a dinner that he would eat unless it's just like a slab of beef with some rice on the side. And then my kids don't really eat meat, and except for chicken, like chicken nuggets, but they have to be dinosaur chicken nuggets. It can't even be like any other kind of chicken nugget. It has to be the damn dinosaur chicken nuggets from Costco. Yeah. And then since I've been eating healthy, like I try to eat a lot of protein. And so I don't know, it distresses me out. I end up making like chicken nuggets for them, telling Shane he's on his own. I don't know, figure it out. And then I eat like peanut butter from the pantry on a rice cake for dinner. Like that's
Emily,
literally
we are
how dinner is every night.
We are living parallel lives. This is exactly what happened to us last night. It's so funny that you just said that almost word for word. I had dino nuggets going in the air fryer. Our amazing housekeeper, who sometimes will cook for us and leave us food, had left food for Michael and I to eat. And then our son is cooking ramen noodles. I mean, it was like, can we just get on the same page? I don't think it's that hard, but it is. And it's because we've catered to everybody's needs. And now everybody's like, I don't want that. We didn't have that option growing up.
Well, I mean, my mom didn't cook when I was growing up. So like we never had sit down dinners or anything. My sister and I were literally trying to scrounge through cabinets and eating cereal and stuff for dinner. So as a mom, I really wanted to break that cycle and do like the whole everybody sit down for dinner, everybody eat at the same time. And now I realize that like, I don't think that's ever going to happen. First of all, with all the activities my kids are in, I can't even find a time where we could actually all sit down at the same time. And then my kids only eat like 3 things: rice and dino chicken nuggets and maybe like some sliced bananas. That's it. And then Shane, I gave up on Shane. Shane, I'm just like, you're on your own. Like you can go to In-N-Out. I don't care. Get yourself a burger.
He's probably happy though to not have that.
Yeah, he doesn't even stress about it. He doesn't even ask me what's for dinner because he's given up. It's been 15 years. It's clearly like, I'm not going to cook something. I mean, my oven was broken for 6 months. I didn't even know it. I mean, I'm at the point where it's just like, I'm just trying to survive.
I swear,
as good as it's gonna get.
We moved into this house with this insane oven that's from France, and it's part of what they sold us on the kitchen. We were like, you are telling the wrong people about this. I mean, it's literally, I'm not kidding you guys. It's a $50,000 oven that we don't know how to turn on. It is pretty, but we do not know how to turn it on.
It's time to get a chef.
Well, the thing is, the chef, I'm telling you, our housekeeper so kindly makes us food. I've thought about the chef thing, except is the chef going to make ramen noodles? What am I going to pay? I mean, that's all my kids want is mac and cheese.
Right. That's how I feel. It's like, why would I even pay someone to make dinner? Because all they'd be doing is putting dino chicken nuggets into the oven. That's it. Like,
if it's too fancy, my kids don't want it.
Yeah, but isn't it difficult for you to travel? Because here's where it stresses me out, because I traveled with my kids this summer. Like I took them on a cruise and they don't eat anything. It's stressful for me to travel with my children
because we had this conversation and Shane traveled internationally and you guys thought you weren't going to survive it. I feel like
that's why I told Shane, I was like, why don't we take the kids to Europe next summer? And he's like, are you kidding me? What's Luke going to eat? All he eats is the mini muffins in those packages. That's it. And I was like, you're right. I don't know.
Love y'all so
you just
much.
have to travel with the suitcase mini muffins.
That's it. I'm just going to have to pack mini muffins and just whip him out 3 times a day for his meals.
Well, tell Shane that the one thing, and you may know this from being there, I mean, there are KFCs and McDonald's pretty much everywhere.
Okay, but I have been there, but I feel like they're slightly different. Like they
are different. They actually, for adults, they taste better. Because
but for my kids, they'd be like, this is not the same. I am not eating these chicken nuggets.
It is. We went basically every day. All it was if you will eat the chicken nuggets, I will get you ice cream.
Yes, I do that too. I'm like, I will buy you ice cream if you freaking take a bite of this.
The pizza. I love finish your pizza and you can have cake.
My kids won't even eat pizza. My kids don't like pizza. I don't know what to do with them.
One of ours will eat pizza and the other one won't. Gina, you're being very quiet considering you're the one with 18 kids over there.
Yeah, right. What do your kids eat?
You know what? You have to understand though, I grew up on Long Island, New York, Italian background. Like I was born with like a wooden spoon in my hand. Like I got brought up cooking, right? And that's just the way it was. So I always from the beginning cooked dinner for my kids and they just ate what we ate. And even when we moved here, I was married and I just continued that kind of traditional lifestyle. So my kids, were toddlers eting like fish and shrimp and all
Your
kinds
kids still
of stuff.
eat this stuff? They still eat this?
They do. But the problem,
I know, right?
Yeah, I know. But the thing is that I made a decision, like at some point I was like, I don't like to cook. And fuck that. And like, why do I have to be the one in the kitchen with my whole life revolving around cooking these meals for everybody? And I felt like it's unfair. I decided and I realized about myself, I don't like being a housewife. And so like, I don't do it anymore.
Ironic.
But like, I'm actually just failing my kids now because they will eat well, but they have to eat whatever I DoorDash that night. And it just
But what
is
about
what
Travis's kids? Did they come in with this palette too?
His daughter, so Presley, our oldest, is very good. She wants, like, literally will eat salad, grilled chicken, broccoli every night for dinner. Joseph, our youngest, will power through anything. Bennett is so picky, but like, honestly, it was like to the point where it was actually a problem. And I am so proud of her because although she still is very picky and limited, she has made such progress in because when I met her, she would literally only eat French fries, bagels, and pizza. That was it. And now like she can eat cucumbers, she can eat broccoli, so now like dinner isn't fancy in her house. And I don't care if it's just pasta, but then I just stick some broccoli next to it, some apple slices, and I feel like that's good. I don't want to feel overwhelmed by it.
Let's be honest, Emily, those kids are throwing that broccoli away. She thinks they're eating it. They're tossing it over their shoulders.
They're feeding it to the dog.
The dog is eating it.
That's why the dog is eating the broccoli and the fish.
You want to hack though? You want to know how I taught them? I have a video of it from when my kids are little. I should put it up. How I would get my kids to eat, first of all, fruit. When my kids were little, I manipulated them. I told them that fruit was candy from the get. My kids came up thinking fruit was candy. That's a lie. I told them, and it worked. And then the second thing is to get them to eat vegetables. We would have nightly, like broccoli offs. And I would be like, okay. And then I would say, ready, set, go. And they would compete to who could eat the most broccoli, and they'd be shoving it in their mouth. And so like, that's how I would get them to eat it. And then over time plus like I'm Italian, you put all those vegetables in as much garlic and oil as possible and it tastes great,
I feel like you need a new challenge though, because I feel like my kids would just come try the broccoli challenge with my children.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
See how it goes.
I can't undo
Emily,
that.
Let's bring Auntie Gina over,
right?
And bring everybody to one place. Put the kids. It'll be like the Olympics.
No way.
I think you should do the broccoli challenge with all of our kids, and we'll see how that goes.
We'll throw broccoli at the wall.
Yeah.
I'll be buried in the broccoli. Be my final resting place.
It's so funny. I love the different takes on this, and I know everyone hearing this will too, because I feel like people do not want to talk about this because nobody else realizes everybody's going through it. And what always happens to me is when somebody has like it is, and somebody has like a 2-year-old, it never fails. Every single time one of my friends, I'll be like, oh my God, how do they eat? Same story every time. Oh, they eat everything. They love everything I give them. They'll eat vegetables. And the truth is, at 2 years old, my kids would too, when it was all, baby foodish and packaged fun. And it changes. It changes because the grandparents came along and showed them all that other shit that now there's no other option. It's like Lucky Charms. My kids didn't know what Lucky Charms was until my mom bought a box and put it in our cabinet. And now it's Lucky Charms are nothing. They would rather go to school starving than not eat Lucky Charms.
I'm very liberal about breakfast. My kids, I'm like, they have waffles with Nutella, cereal. I actually am a believer in give the junk in the morning because they burn it off.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's just that the sugar, I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like I'm
terrible.
like, if this is
But
how
it's
you're
like
starting your day,
balance, right? Yeah, but like they run around. If they're in a sport, that balances that. You shove some broccoli in there, you get one lettuce leaf. Life's about balance. We can't be freaking obsessed. I'm never going to be crunchy granola. I'm sorry. There's days that I'm like, yes, I'll buy the organic fruit and everything's great. And then there's days that I'm just like, don't eat the sticker. You know, I can't keep up with all of it all the time. It just is what it is.
Yeah, you just have to let it go sometimes. I'm like, you want to eat mini muffins the rest of your life? Whatever. That's fine by me. Eat
You'll
mini
figure
muffins.
it out. And
Do
actually,
y'all go
Nicholas,
to
my
that?
oldest, he wants surf and turf every night. I'm like, you're going to be the reason I go broke.
If my kids ask for surf and turf, I'd drop dead.
Me
That's
too.
all
My
he
kids,
would eat. He loves
yeah.
seafood.
Do y'all ever go to that restaurant where Shannon threw that plate at Kelly?
Oh, the quiet woman.
We've been
I
there.
always want to call it the angry daughter, the quiet
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah, you know what? If you went there, you'd be surprised how small it is.
Really?
It's very tiny.
It's so small. It's very tiny. I mean, I've been there multiple times, but I feel like I don't know. It's one of those places where I think you go because you want to be seen, and I don't always want to be seen.
Where do y'all live in proximity to each other, to the other women, and to like things like that?
That's a
Gina
good
and I
question.
Gina and I now are very close to each other because I'm in Laguna Niguel, and then she's just like straight parallel to me, right?
Yeah, I'm Rancho Mission Viejo, so I am just like 15 minutes inland from Emily. She's just closer to the shore.
Where's the place with that originally the show was based on that was like behind the gates?
That's Cotto. That's where I moved from. When I started the show, I lived in Cotto, where Vicky Gunvalson lived. And that is also, that's 10 minutes from where I live now, a little bit more.
Are there different, like I'm learning in Santa Barbara, because I really didn't know this area, what people consider levels of where people live. Is Cotto a more prestigious place? Or
well, Cotto has every I mean, there's even like townhomes in Cotto, right? Cotto's its own city, like basically.
Honestly, I mean, Cotto is equivalent to, I would say, honestly, the town I live in now and Emily's town, Laguna Niguel, because there's like she lives in a beautiful gated community in Laguna Niguel, but then there's also apartments in Laguna Niguel, and it's the same thing where I am. It's the same thing where Cotto is. The money is where Heather was, Newport Coast.
Okay.
Newport itself is kind of, it's on the beach, so it's a little more expensive. It's definitely more expensive, but in terms of like lifestyle and niceness, it could be hit or miss, but the coast is cream of the crop.
Who comes out? I'm just jumping around now because I don't know how long we get to have Emily and how long this episode will be. So I want to do some sort of hot topics. Who comes out of the reunion looking the worst?
Well, that's obvious, I think.
Oh, is it because of what's happened since that possibly Shannon?
Honestly, I don't even think so. I think it's just because of what was going on already. I think that that's not going to help, certainly. But and honestly, I don't know. I mean, Tamara gave it to Jen pretty good all year, so. People have already kind of weighed in on what they think about that. However, Tamara has the ability to apologize, which is a good trait.
Mm-hmm.
Emily, were you involved with the Shannon stuff on the reunion?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I sat next to Shannon, so I would like say stuff to her. I like to take digs at her, but really, like when stuff comes up between her and Gina, I mean, Gina can handle herself. And I also think it's important to not weigh in sometimes. Like I always have an opinion. I always want to say something, but I think there are times when you need to just let those people do their thing and work it out. And, I'll tell you though, I do feel like I said to her, like, just apologize. Like that's all you have to do.
To Shannon?
Like, yeah. And I don't know. I mean,
well, I know I've heard her passive aggressive apologies before. I'm sorry. Okay.
I don't even know if there was even a passive aggressive apology.
Nothing.
Like,
There was like a lot of I don't like you.
I feel like there was a double down and a triple down. Like, I don't feel like there was much accountability.
How did Jen do on her first reunion?
I think she did well. I think, it's really hard coming in, especially, I mean, Gina, I feel like, I don't care what anybody says. I think Gina and I came on the hardest season you could possibly come in on. It was really difficult to come in season 13. She and I are new. We don't know each other. And we came in with Vicky, Shannon, Tamara, and Kelly Dodd. I'm sorry, but to survive that, I mean, honestly, that was
scary.
That was really, really difficult. So for me, these women that have come in later and haven't been able to make it, I'm like, what, like, how much? I mean, you came on when Gina and I'm not mean to people when they come on. I think it's important to establish a friendship. And I know people are like, oh, you're hard on Jen because you ask her a lot of questions. Well, I'm sorry. That's kind of what you're supposed to do. I mean, she told me she's an open book. I don't know anything about her. She says things that are kind of contradictory. I still don't really understand things about her. So of course I'm going to kind of hammer in there and ask questions. But I think she did well considering that she came on to a very established cast where there's all these layers and dynamics and she came in and, she held her own and she got a lot of crap for Ryan and that's to be expected, and I think she did well. At the end of the day, she's an adult. She can date whoever she wants. We clearly all have our opinions and we voice those. And I hate it. I also hate it when people say, it's none of your business. Well, no, really, it kind of is. I mean, is that the stance you want to take when you watch a Housewives show that we all are just like, well, it's none of our business? I mean, what kind of show would you have if that was our attitude?
If you don't ask her questions too, like we don't ask people questions, even if they're, questions that maybe they don't want to answer or whatever, it's like, then how is that person supposed to assimilate into the show? How is anybody supposed to get to know that person? So, and you have to understand too, that whatever was happening in Jen's life, that's how she auditioned for the show. She shared all of that already. So the expectation now is that you're going to talk about it. When Emily auditioned for the show, she brought up the fact that her husband was studying for the bar. That's why then when she gets on it, they want to hear about it. You know what I mean? Right. So we're already, understanding of that. Everybody knows that situation and we're going to ask about it. And if we don't, honestly, it's doing Jen a disservice because then she's not even included in the group and you don't get to know her as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I have to drag Emily down to our level. Gina, I don't know if you've warned her about.
Oh my God, what is this?
Okay, this would be great.
We sort of stumbled into something 5 or 6 episodes ago by me telling a story about this time that I had to shit in a canoe. And then Gina shared an equally embarrassing story. And then what's happened is we've sort of put all of our guests on the spot since then. And surprisingly, everybody has shared a story about, when it snuck up on them. And this can be edited out if you look at me and say, I'm not doing that because you do look
especially edited out. This will not be edited out.
So this is like a specific shit story.
Yes. So we called the poop scoop and we want to know when you shit your pants. That's what we want to know.
Okay. I don't think I've actually shit my pants, but I will tell you a story. Okay. Gina just said, I live in a very, very beautiful, wealthy neighborhood in Laguna Niguel with gates.
I love how this is starting.
And my sister-in-law lives across the street. I never even told Shane this, but you're going to have to edit this out. This is so mortifying. Anyway.
Well, we're definitely not.
We used to take walks at night through the neighborhood for exercise. And we were walking and I had to poop so bad. And I'm a mile away from my house. It's not like I can get back in time. You know how it just hits you and you're like, I can't control it. I literally had to climb into some $5 million backyard and poop in someone's yard.
In someone's yard?
Yes.
What did you wait with?
Some leaves or something. I was in their bushes,
Who are you walking with? Were you walking with your sister-in-law or with Shane?
No, oh my God, if it was Shane, he would have like divorced me. No, it was Shireen, his sister. And I couldn't hold it and I didn't know what to do. So I just had to poop in somebody's backyard with like, like some $5 million, multi-million-dollar house with like a
there
pool.
had been a dog or something? What if a dog had
I mean, I like dogs. I don't know.
No, I just meant while you were squatting, assuming you squatted, did you put your back up against the house? Was there a tree? How did you?
Well, I was
you just
like,
have
it was
strong
their, it
leg
was like their
muscles?
backyard. Like I wasn't like up to their house. Like the homes have large yards in the back and pools and pool houses and things like that. So
well, that one is very nice.
What a good sister-in-law Shireen is, man.
I know. I don't think she ever told anyone either. But there's security cameras in my neighborhood, so I don't know if the security guards all like have like a like a highlight reel where they just like watch it and crack up.
If we could cut to that footage right now, we would win some sort of podcast award.
Right?
I wish that we had it.
Oh my God!
Although you did a good job of giving us all a visual. I just want to say, from my point of view, Emily, thank you so much. You not just for coming on and being a part of this to support your friend, but also for making this little Real Housewives Junkies dream come true.
Of course.
I have loved you and Gina long before I knew you guys, and this really was a dream. So thank you for having so much fun and doing this today.
Well, I loved it. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it. Anytime you want a poop story or, whatever, I'm your girl.
Right.
Love you, friend.
We love a good poop story.
Love you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, Emily. This was awesome. Love y'all.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.